Yeah, fair use. Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is used, permitted by copyright. Fair use is for educational purposes. I am not making any money. Khan. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Kahaloyim Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachaha Kwadash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father, and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to your sisters, your akhwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yahawada with the lesson.
We begin tonight here with the breaking news. Growing concern at this hour over air quality, dangerous smoke from Canadian wildfires filling the skies across the U.S., the Midwest, and now right into the Northeast tonight. At this hour, more than 800 fires are burning in Canada alone. That smoke now making its way into the U.S. The haze over the Midwest and now the Northeast in the coming hours. Tonight here, the stunning images of a train surrounded by flames in Ontario, the crew calling for an emergency rescue. The thick smoke in Michigan, bridge traffic disappearing into the haze. Authorities reducing speeds there to 20 miles an hour. In New York City tonight, the Statue of Liberty barely visible through the smoke. Niagara Falls in an orange glow, just stunning. And late today, a storm sweeping through New York City, the city in darkness for a time during the storms and this haze. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast for us, and ABC's Matt Rivers leads us off with the images tonight.
Tonight, dangerous smoke from wildfires in Canada blanketing the upper Midwest and Northeast with thick, hazy air. The skies bright orange. Air quality alerts now up for millions of people in more than a dozen states. From Boston,
breathing's a little bit more strained than normal,
to New York. Officials warning that with the smoke and dangerous heat wave, people should limit their time outdoors. In Michigan, the famed 5-mile Mackinac Bridge disappearing into the haze. Officials reducing speeds to 20 miles an hour. Earthcam video showing Niagara Falls enveloped in an orange cloud. Smoke also pouring in from multiple fires burning in Minnesota's Superior National Forest.
The evacuation orders came, and we kicked off that plan.
Scouts on a canoe trip forced to evacuate with their food and supplies. Those fires and over 800 more raging in Canada.
This has gotten a little scary.
Terrifying video out of Ontario capturing an apocalyptic scene, flames surrounding a freight train. Amazingly, the crew on board were not hurt.
Seriously, we're encased in flames now.
In the path of all that smoke, Toronto's air quality ranking the worst worldwide among major cities.
David, those wildfires again creating these hazy, almost apocalyptic-like images across the U.S. from that bridge there in Michigan to scenes like these in upstate New York. Officials are advising everyone to take extra precautions to brace for worsening conditions. It may only get hazier. David?
We can see the skyline there right behind you. Matt Rivers leading us off tonight. Matt, thank you. Let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Of course, tracking the air quality dangers, the flash flood emergency in the south. But firstly, this dangerous smoke and these storms late today in New York City.
Skies are so muddy in New York City right now, David. I mean, it's air that you can wear and taste, and then it became a triple threat with the severe storms this afternoon in New York City with heavy downpours and gusty winds temporarily clearing out the smoke, but it's coming back big time. These storms, of course, fueled by the heat, and of course, the heavy smoke will actually take down temperatures some more here, but the smoke is worse. The worst smoke tonight is across Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Michigan. That heavy smoke and poor air quality is coming back into the Northeast, Philly, New York City, Boston, goes right to the end of the week. To the flash flooding, it's 2 nights in a row for the Texas Hill Country. A high risk for life-threatening flash flooding. Rainfall rates to 3 inches an hour, rising river levels. We got flash floods washing out roadways. This is going to go into tomorrow, locally up to 15 inches of additional rain in the Texas Hill Country. David?
So concerned about that as well, Lee. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. So it's for you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? You must gather back into your power, right? The scriptures talk about seeking the old way, the old path. You know, go back to your fathers, right? And if you can't, you know, go to your actual father to get this, you know, it's the fathers of you know, of the scriptures, right? You know, the prophets, you know, seek the old way. Yeah, so this is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16 in the Blue Letter Bible, right? And it says, thus saith Yahweh, right, which is all caps, speaking of the Most High, which is all caps, which is Yahweh, right? That's how you know it's not speaking of the Son, speaking of the Father. But of course, you know, we know that Yahweh Shai is an agreement, so that's why we come in the name Bahasham. Yahweh Shai, stand in the way and see and ask for the old path. See? Gotta ask for that old path. Where is the good way? See, because the way we've been going, you know, since, you know, what is it? What's it called? Since you've been emancipated or whatever you call it, which really wasn't you being free from slavery. It was just you became property of the state, which ultimately America is a corporation. So you became corporate slaves, you know, into the system, the banking system, right? Which, you know, we were anyway, right? The first items to be ever sold on Wall Street were the so-called, right? We tell you that because, you know, because of ignorance, people think we're Negro or they think we're black, right? But black is a social construct, and there's nobody black. We're actually brown. We're many shades of brown, right? And but so-called Negro or black and indigenous, right, were sold on the stock market first, right? Which even some of them, right, because there's a lot of indigenous people who had paper genocide, who look like us. You refer to them as a Negro, but they're actually Gad, right? They're actually from these different tribes, and they were already here in America. That's how they knew we were related. That's why they were helping us, you know, when we were escaping from different plantations. But of course, through paper genocide, they reclassified a lot of them into Negro. So, right, surely Judah and Ephraim are oppressed together, right? Truly, right? Truly, in the hoods, the ghettos, the vadios, and the reservations, and the same hoods, right? Having you calling yourself black, right? Which is an insult, right? It's calling you everything negative, anything you could possibly think of negative, and then some comes with the color black, right? And then to call yourself that, it's a spit to the face, man. And you know what you got to do when somebody spits you in the face? You got to put them in the, you know, in the Sheol, right? You got to put them in a hole, you know. But it says but you're supposed to ask for the old path. Where is the good way, right? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your soul. But they say we will not walk therein, right? And we have a lot of rebellious Israelites, man, right? Because we could be all saved within a day. We'd have been saved overnight. Yahweh Shai would have came within that instant, pretty much. You know, all of us got on the, but hey, it ain't gonna happen. But that's why the Lord said, seek it, you know, for those who will seek it, right? Because the Lord's not dealing with all of Israel right now, right? And it says, in fact, let's see what that. I don't know. Oh, I'll pass on. Look at the old.
Strong's H5769. Olam.
Say a long duration, right? And what have we been here in captivity? It's been a long duration in captivity. You've been separated from the understanding, the true understanding of the Bible. And some people will say, hey, we don't need no Bible. We just need to be black people. But there's no such thing as black people. There's no such thing as the nation called black, right? As intelligent as what's his name? Muhammad Ali sounded, but then he sounded stupid at the same time. He goes, well, everybody know that you need to be called a nation, and the Chinese people are called Chinese, and what is it? Italians are called Italians, so on and so forth, right? So we don't call ourselves Negroes no more. We just call ourselves black. Okay, bro, you just shot yourself in the foot because where's the nation black at? Where's the language black? It doesn't make sense. So I mean, antiquity, right? Because what were we doing in antiquity, right? See, and in being that we were integrated with these natives. What were these natives doing? Because you speak to a lot of these natives. They said they were following the moon, which goes into the Sabbath, right? Right? They understood, They would say the Shemai, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Akkad, right? Right? That's what we were doing in antiquity, right?
Futurity.
Futurity, forever, ever, everlasting, evermore, perpetual, old, ancient world, right? See, and that's what happened. Our world was turned upside down. Ancient time, long time, past of the future, forever, always, continuous, extents, perpetual, everlasting, indefinite, or unending future, eternity. Let's see what this is. It's lucky I might have said that wrong. Let's see how to say that.
Existence.
Existence?
Existence.
Oh, Salakia, yeah, I did say it wrong. Existence.
Indefinite.
Yeah, okay. Say that one right. Okay. Definite existence. Salakia. But okay. So you gotta ask for that old way, right? Yeah, so this is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. This is the blue letter Bible. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh," right? All caps, meaning the Most High, Yahweh, right? Is the letter J is only 4,500 years old, and it's definitely not what is it? What they call it? Hashem. Hashem just means the name. And he has a name. His name is Yahweh, right? And of course, because we have a intercessor. We were separated, and we're to connect us back to our power. We come through the intercessor, which is Yahweh Shai. So we say Bahasham, which means in the name Yahweh Shai. So we come in the name of Yahweh Shai. So stand ye in the way and seek and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And that's what a lot of people is not doing, or they are doing it, but they're still coming up short, right? Because obviously we know that at this point you got to know that gangbanging, drug dealing, all those things is not a good path, right? We can see as things are speeding up in time and space, so to speak. There's not enough time. There's not enough time to continue to keep on that same path, that old path, the old ways of that. But the old ways concerning what was good, right? Because that old path, which really is a new path because it was presented to you by your oppressors, right? But what about the old path where we did good and then our power protected us? Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your soul. So where's the path where we can actually get rest? You know? And in this place, we haven't got rest. When you go back to time of that was a proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation, we have not had rest to this very day. 2026, they have not given us any rest. We went from the plantations on us into the states and basically the banks, which basically goes into, well, America is a corporation. We're owned by the corporation called America, right? Which ultimately goes back to the international bankers, the world bankers, which are the Rothschilds. You're all property of the Rothschild, the Bilderbergs, the Ponce, the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, right? You're all property of these elites in some way, fashion, form, right? It says, but they say we will not walk therein, right? And that's because a lot of people are, they've been, what's it called, manipulated, and they're hurt too. You went to church, you prayed. It seemed like your prayers never got answered. It seems like these different things, but there's what people didn't tell you, there was a certain set and a certain way that you should pray. Face the east. If you're a man, you don't have your head covered, right? If you're a man, you don't have long hair. You know what I'm saying? If you're a woman, you need to pray. You need to have your head covered. Face the east, have your head covered. They didn't tell you these things, even though it's in the New Testament, right? But they don't tell you these things, right? Because it's literally plantation Christianity. But I just want to go to the part. See, old, right? Because talk about the old path.
Strong's H5769. Olam. Olam.
It says olam. It says a long duration, and we've had a long duration in this captivity. So where's our rest? Right? Where's the rest? Right? Antiquity, right? What were we doing in antiquity? What were the foods? What were the language that we were speaking? Right? What was the God we was praying to? Right? If you pay attention, every nation has a belief system, right? But you're the only nation that don't have a true nationality, nor country, nor language. They'll give you a blanket statement like Africa, right? They're throwing, Ghana, Nigeria, but then even there's so many different tribes and belief systems that they're just about as confused as over here in Babylon, man. In the city of confusion, right? But every now and then you'll find some, sprinkles of some truth, which they're not even doing it right. You got the Limba tribe, you got the Igbo, right? You got some of our ancestors that still they understand that they're Israelites, which that's like what do you call it, a breath of fresh air, but they're still not doing it right. But when you see those things, that it means we're onto something, right? You have a clue, It says for antiquity, I don't know this word, I forgot it. Futurity, oh, like a future, futurity, forever, everlasting, evermore, perpetual, old, ancient world. Right, yeah. Because what was our world like? What was our worldview? In time, in antiquity, ancient times, long time of past or of future, right? So yeah, because your past reflects your future, right? Because what we sinned against the Most High. Now that we understand, we sinned against the Most High, and this is why we're in these conditions. We're in the ghettos, the vadios, and the reservations because we sinned against our power, right? And it basically just keeps going on about future on and thing old. Let's see, this says something a little different. This is the root.
Strong's H 5956. A lamb. A lamb.
So a lamb to conceal, hide, right? See, there you go. That's beautiful. Right? Oh, there you go. Earthquake, right? To conceal, hide, be concealed, be secret, right? Right, because it goes into what us to hide oneself, right? Because we don't know who we were. It's a secret now, right? Right. Dissembler.
Dissembler.
Yeah, right. And that's what they did. They disassembled our lives, who we were. So you got to ask for the old path, right? Yeah. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 6 says, "Do ye thus requite Yahweh?" Right, and we say, and of course, we come in the name of Yahweh Shai, His only begotten Son, because He's the one who's the mediator, who makes the bridge to come back to the Father. So we say, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, O foolish people, right? Talking about you Israelites, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Foolish people and unwise. See, is not He thy Father? So is the Most High not your Father? That had brought thee, right? Didn't the Lord bring us out of Egypt? Brought us out of every condition that you're in. Though you're in the ghettos, the vadios, the reservations, the Lord did not he did not punish us as much as our sins require, right? You know, we our punishment could be far way great. I mean, it's bad, like, trust me, but obviously it could be worse, you know. So it's not, you know, the Yahweh, your Father, Yahweh Bashem Shai, your Father that had brought thee, have He not made thee? Right, the Most High made us, man. Right. So, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, when you think of these things, it says and establish thee. Right, the Lord established our well-going, our well-being. Whether you do good, or you do evil, whether you live or you die, whether you're rich or poor, all comes from the Most High, right? Yeah, and this is definition
Requite.
of requite. It says requite means to repay or return, right? Shouldn't you be returning back to the Father, right? Shouldn't you repay the Lord for all the goodness that He's done for you, right? Which you could never really pay it back, but shouldn't you be returning? Or compensate for a favor. See, everybody like to say, I get the favor of the Lord, but what have you done to compensate for it, right? To return back to the Most High. It says feelings or injuries, right? It can apply to positive actions like returning kindness or love. See, and should you not return the kindness and the love that Yahweh has given to you, in which He tell you to give it to His people, right? When you have done to the least of these people, you have done unto me. So the Lord is saying you're supposed to show kindness to your your brothers, your sisters, your people who are of the Israelites, right? You Israelites, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, you're supposed to show kindness. You're not supposed to be shooting and killing and murdering each other, but these are the results, right? Fire, earthquakes, water floods. These are all things that are going to happen because you have not returned. You have not returned that love, right? You have not returned any, or a negative, says, or negative, ones like seeking revenge or payback for a wrongdoing. See? And don't you owe the Lord for doing wrong, for worshiping other gods? Right? You can't be mad at the Lord because you're in the ghettos, the vadios, and the reservations. You put yourself in those conditions by disobeying the Lord, right? Worshiping other gods, right? Shouldn't the Lord make you pay that back, right? In punishment? But also the Lord said, hey, just pay me back by returning back to me, right? Compensate my love, my patience, my favor that I've shown to you, right? Yeah, continuing on. Back to Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old, right? See, and that's really what the Lord want to do. He really wants you to turn back to him. But if you don't turn back to him, shouldn't he repay you for the evil you've done, for the wrongdoing that you've done? That's ultimately what's going to happen. Either you can repent and the Lord can wash away your sins and forget that you ever sinned, right? Not that you're not going to go through something, because that's the way you're going to pay it back. But it's going to be far less strenuous to go through that than the actual punishment that he's going to give you. It's better for you to return back. And that's what he's saying. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Think about all the generations, especially us being in this captivity. The many generations of gangbanging, drug dealing, all these different things. And where is it really going? They're about to get ready to put robots out here. Killer robots. They're about to micro C-hip everybody. What good is that going to do you because you got some type of hood or block or whatever the hell you think you got? That ain't going to do you no good. But you know what's going to do you good? Where you're going to find rest? And the Lord said, this is the place. Ask your father, seek the old way, ask, and you'll find rest for your soul. Hey, it says, you got to consider those generations, many years and generations, and ask thy father, right, which is the Most High Yahweh, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will teach thee. Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20. And though the Lord, right, give you the bread of adversity, right? So Yahweh Bashem Shai has given us the bread of adversity, which means basically we went through slavery, right? Many different captivities, but this main last captivity under the with Roman Empire with the deadly wound that was healed and returned, it's been the worst. It's the worst captivity we ever had, where Judah and Ephraim are oppressed together, right? And that's that bread of adversity with the different slaveries, different things that we were here. You got your land taken. You got your name. Your heritage taken. And with the ghettos, the vadios, the reservations. All these things that you got, all these different adversities. That you had to go through, right? It says and waters of affliction, right? Yeah, it's talking about slavery, right? Because it speaks about the place of drawn water goes into slavery. So we went through different slaveries, and now you're in this corporate slavery, which they're about to push a whole nother different type of slavery, right? I don't know how I jumped like that, but okay. They're about to push a whole different type of slavery, which is now digitally locked down, right? Total control, right? You won't be able to buy and sell unless you have the mark, the charagma, the karaks, the grapho. So you really don't have time for a lot of madness out here, right? But it says, and ye it says, yet shall not thy teachers, right? See, the Lord's going to say, he's going to give you your teachers. He's going to send you your teachers, and your teachers shall teach you. And yet shall not your teachers be removed into a corner anymore, right? See, the Lord's preparing that. And so you have the true teachers, starting with the apostles of Great Millstone, Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ramla, Apostle Rakar, and the bishops, and the brothers on down, you have your teachers, and they're not going to be removed ever again, because this is the end. But thy eyes shall see thy teachers. Right. So this, I'm coming back to Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 2. It says, before the decree bring forth, right? Because that's what we have to teach you. We have to teach you that the Lord has a decree that's gonna bring forth what? Judgment, destruction, right? Or order, right? Because when you go into the I believe the word decree goes into, like an order, right? You have to get yourself in order before the decree brings forth, before the day pass as the chaff, right? So just like that fire that's burning in Canada, and it's going to leave all the ash and the wind's blowing. It's going to pass through as the chaff. And then the ultimate passing through is the chaff is those nuclear winds, right? Which goes into those hypersonic ICBM missiles that's going to be shot from Russia, from Iran, North Korea. Even America's allies are going to come against this place, right? And you can see it, right? It's evident that the micro C hip is about to be pushed. World War III is going to hit, and this is the decree. The decree is get yourself in order, because the missiles are coming, destruction is coming, slavery on a high level is coming, right? They about to disrupt life on such a high level. It's going to be ridiculous, but ultimately, it's a test. The Lord said He's going to try the world, which is the test the whole world has to go through, right? So that's what we're telling you. So it says, chaff before the fierce anger of Yahweh, right? And ultimately, it's because we're telling you the Most High is angry, and some things is about to happen. So we're trying to get you to be in order. Come up upon you before the day of Yahweh's anger come upon you, right?
Decree.
A decree is an official order issued by a legal authority, government, or sovereign that has the force of the law, right? Which that's what the Lord is going to do. He's gonna push forth the whole force of the law, which in the scriptures. Right now, you have the grace period, and that grace period is about to go away. And this is what the teachers are telling you, that the grace period is about. You're at the time that there ain't going to be a grace period, right? And you might want to get serious about having a relationship with Yahweh Bashem Shai and changing your ways, going back into the old way, right? This is blue letter Zephaniah 2 and 2. Decree, go into decree real quick.
Strong's H 2706. Chok,
right? Which means what? A statute, which is like a law. Statute, ordinance, which is like a law. Limit, right? There's a limit. There's a limited time that you could do the things that's going on. It's about to be a limited time. It's a limit you can go, and then you can't. And there ain't gonna be no coming back. Something prescribed or due, right? And it's a due time that things are gonna be prescribed, task, right? And that's to get you back into order. Subscribe portion, subscribe a due, subscribe limited boundaries, right? Because it's only about so far you can go, because this place is about to be destroyed, right? And that, of course, that fires Canada. But look what the guy's saying. He's saying apocalyptic things, which that's ultimately like a nomen omen, right? Because that's what's about to happen here. An apocalyptic fire is about to happen to America. You know what I mean? And they said they seen the smoke of their torment right? That's what's about to happen, right? In that decree. So we're telling you that America's going to be destroyed, and then the Lord's going to push forth the whole force of the law, which is His laws, which according to the scriptures says law in general. See, and everything's just basically saying the same thing. I'm just gonna go to the root word. It basically says to cut out, right? And that's what He's gonna do. He's gonna cut out all the BS. He's just gonna start judging, right? So the decree, inscribe, set, engrave, poetry, govern, right? Because his what he says, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, which means separate, holy, separate. You can't call him Yo Play Yogurt. It's a separate name. It's very serious, and the Lord is about business, man. And He's gonna come with that judgment, His anger. It says a fierce anger, fiery anger, right? Which is ultimately going to be those missiles, the ICBM missiles. But hey, other things are going to come before that, right? And where was I at? Oh, govern, yes, because it's going to be the govern on earth as it is in heaven. The Lord's going to govern this place to cut into. Yeah, He's going to cut into a lot of people, man. And wait, it says upon engrave, right? Hey, the Lord's, what's going to be engraven into you? A lot of you're going to get the micro C hip. You're going to be engraven into. And then that gives the Lord justification to judge your monkey. You know what I'm saying? Judge you, right? Because you play too many games, You want to act like Esau, monkey see, monkey do. You see this monkey Edomite, self-proclaimed so-called white man doing all these different things, and you want to do what he do, or you gonna get the judgment. Don't hand join your hand. The wicked will not go unpunished, man. Right? You're gonna get punished, right? And it basically goes into the Lord's just having a decree, goes back into the law, and that's what the Lord's gonna do. It's decree, the law, right? And He's gonna push forth the full force of the law according to the scriptures, right? Yeah, see, when you come back here, it says Zephaniah 2:2, and it says the fierce anger or fire, fierce anger of Yahweh come upon you before the day of Yahweh's anger come upon you. So we're telling you, a judgment is about. What's it called? Grace period. Grace period is about to run out. It says, "Seek ye Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought His judgment." Man, you've been working and you've been looking at His judgment and you've been working it out. What it talks about, talks about rehearsing the righteous acts. You're working and you're wrought, which means you're working at it. You're working at it. You're fighting. You're working to be better, right? You're working at His judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness, it may be well with ye. Be well that it seek righteousness, seek meekness, it may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yahweh's anger. Right? Yeah, so this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And as He sat upon the Mount Olive, the disciples came unto Him privily, saying, "Tell us," right? So the Lord said He's going to send forth your teachers. And their teacher was there, which is Yahweh Shai. And He said, "Hey, tell us," right? Tell us, right? Because their teacher was not removed in the corner anymore. On his 30th birthday, he had a ministry that went 3 years, but his ministry went out, and it was time for him to push forth that ministry in that particular time. So therefore, their teacher was not removed in the corner anymore. He was out there. He was teaching, and that's what they're saying. Tell us. So they're asking him, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the signs of thy coming, right? Because He's coming back, second coming. And This time he came as a sacrificial lamb. He came gentle. He said, I come not to judge, right? He didn't come to judge, right? At that time, because he told them what? The judgments are already written. So he told the Pharisees, the ones who was talking slick, right? Because there were righteous Pharisees, but the ones that were talking slick, he said, I don't judge you, but there's one that judge you already. The laws of Moses. The laws are there, see? And that's all we're just telling you. We're telling you because people will tell us, man, who are you to judge us? Who are you to judge? Look, I'm not here to judge you. The laws are already written. The judgment is already set, right? That's why the Lord said, he that believeth not is condemned already. If you don't believe in this scriptures and these Bibles and what we're telling you, it doesn't matter. You're already condemned because the judgments are already set, right? You know, there's no adding and there's no taking from this book. You know, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the signs of thy coming and of the end of the world, or really age, right? This age or eon, right? Which is talking about Esau's world, because at this time the Greco-Roman Empire was ruling. But the Greco-Roman Empire returned, the one with the deadly wound returned and came back in rulership again for the last 500 years, right? So when the Yahushai comes back, when he was there on the scene, the Edomites were ruling. When he returned, the Edomites are going to be ruling. And Yahushai answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. See, so he's giving you a hint about the time of the end. There's going to be a lot of deceptions, right? For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, right? Which is saying that they have the unction, the Holy Spirit. It's just the unction from the Holy Spirit, and we know all things. So there's going to be many people say, oh, yeah. See, it says right here, your teacher's not going to be removed in your corner. See, we're the teachers. And see, we're here to teach you, right? And then they could tell you, they could break down some scriptures, right? You know, but those people, because it tells you about in the scripture about those who are able to prophesy, but not have brotherly love, right? Ultimately, if you're not speaking of the micro C hip, you don't truly have brotherly love. If you're saying we could be saved by the law, you don't ultimately have brotherly love, right? You know, you don't truly love your brother. If you could say that the name of the Lord doesn't matter, right? You don't ultimately have brotherly love, right? So you got people that can break down. They can break down some precepts and, see, brother, let me see. I can break it. You know what I mean? But truly having 100% truth. There's something that's going to what? Many shall come in my name saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. See, a lot of people are going to be deceived by the way they're able to break it down, but they don't truly have brotherly love, right? And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and where we at right now? Because a lot of these wars are just rumors of wars, right? There might be some real actual fighting between Iran and America, but how much of that is actually really real? Even when the Ukraine joint popped off, the Ukraine and Russia, I don't know, everybody ain't forgot about how they had the fake bodies laying on the ground with the black tarp over the bodies, and why the news reporter was reporting, someone popped up out of the off the ground who was supposed to be one of the dead bodies. So how much of this is real and how much of this is fake? See, and this is supposed to be a thing between Ukraine and Russia, right? And then you have what do you call it? They're all following the same program. Russia's building 15-minute cities, but Ukraine building 15-minute cities. Israel's building 15-minute cities, but Hezbollah's building 15-minute cities. But see, somehow what's the other one that Israel's against? The Houthis. Why the Houthis is building 15-minute cities, right? Why are there 15-minute cities in Iran? All around the world, they're building these 15-minute cities. They're all on program for the Novos Ordo Seclorum, but they're having this great war against each other. Come on now. Yeah, so many of these things are what? Rumors of wars, So some of them are wars, real wars, and some of them are rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're there. We're very, very close. Because the micro C-hip is on. See, someone who loves you and they're really your brother, and they say that they have the unction from the Holy One and you know all things. If you have the unction one from the Holy One, you know all things, you're not going to say you don't have the name of the Most High, which his name is Yahweh. You're not going to say you don't have the name of the Son, which his name is Yahweh Shai. You're not going to say, well, the mark of the beast is everything in Esau's world. Well, what is that? There's a lot of things in Esau's world, right? Instead of just being direct, you know, it's the microchip, period, right? See, and but let me just finish this up. But it must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nations shall rise against nations. See, we're seeing that, right? And kingdom against kingdom. We're seeing that, man. We're seeing that. You're seeing these different kingdoms coming against each other. But nation goes into nationality, right? Goes into the word nationality too, right? So you got race wars, right? You have race wars. You got these different things that's all coming about. So nationality against nationality, right? A kingdom against a kingdom, right? Which they're saying that whole thing with Iran is just a proxy war between America and Russia anyway, which pretty much is the same thing with Ukraine. Ukraine is just a proxy between America and Russia, right? And really all of NATO, America, all of them, it's all proxy wars, and they're trying to find their way to get a foothold to see if they can overcome Russia, because that's their biggest problem. Russia, China, and then of course right now Iran, because they have that they have a Rothschild central bank in pretty much every country out there except for Iran. I think Iran's like the last holdout for now at this point. But I'm pretty sure that, they're gonna, because they're building their 15-minute cities too. So somehow that thing is all gonna have to, like Pop said in that Boomerang, it's gonna have to correlate. It's gonna all come together, man. Right? It says yeah, kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famines, right? And that's what's happening now. Trump shut up all the power in Cuba. You jacking up Venezuela. All these things are happening, all to bring in, and then they're gonna shut down the Strait, right? The Strait of Hormuz. They're gonna have the Hezbollah or the Houthis to shut down the Red Sea, which is all correlated. That's what I'm saying. That some of that is all correlated. It's really, they're making it seem like it's a war, but it's all the rumor of a war. It's all correlated to bring the world to its knees, and then everybody, you're gonna have to beg to eat. You have to beg to eat, and even then, it's not gonna be good enough for no more beg, because you're gonna have the micro C-hip. You can't buy and sell unless you have what? The mark, the Karagma, the Crocs, the Grapho, right? And that's the time that we're living in. See, we're telling you that the end from the beginning, as the Lord has said, right? Famines and pestilence, right? They keep telling you there's the Inca, the Inca virus, the what is it called? Ebola. They got the thing with the ticks. They talking about this diarrhea, pesticides or what they call but I guess parasites or whatever it's called. Yeah, some diarrhea, parasites. What else they got, man? I mean, what don't they have, right? What disease or some type of ill that they're not pushing right now? You've never heard this many diseases and things. Bird flu, this flu, swine flu. You've never heard this many things. Ever. They just blanket and it's just throwing everything out there. Right? Literally. You know what I mean? This is a pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Yeah. So it says KTLA. Oh, this must have been like a LA 5. It's supposed to be from Los Angeles. It's basically their news. And I don't know what they think, but yeah, basically a multitude 7.3 earthquake after shaking strikes off Mexico coast, right? That just see this, and this popped up earlier when I was just earlier doing this lesson, the same lesson. But yeah, that's crazy. See, a strong 7.3 magnitude earthquake and a aftershock struck off the coast of Mexico. And that's where it struck at. See, off the coast of Mexico, or southern Mexico, Friday morning, officials confirmed, right? Oh, so that happened earlier today. Okay. Yeah, see?
News to get to overseas. A 5.9 magnitude earthquake in New Zealand this morning has triggered a tsunami advisory. Authorities are urging people to get to higher ground. Marcus Moore is tracking the very latest developments. Marcus, what do you know?
Well, Stephanie, we know that the tsunami advisory came after the warning was downgraded. So that's some potentially good news that they have said that this now not a warning and instead an advisory, that there could be some strong currents there. This 5.9 magnitude quake hitting this morning. The epicenter near Christchurch is on the southern tip of the island nation. Authorities there, as you mentioned, had urged people to get to higher ground. We're still waiting for word on if there's been any damage or injuries there. Stephanie, officials still in that initial response. But we do know from the USGS that this quake happened just after 9 o'clock. Local time there in New Zealand. And of course, New Zealand sits on that ring of fire, which is an area of the Pacific that accounts for some 90% of the world's earthquakes. Stephanie.
All right, Marcus, thank you so much.
The floodwaters did not come alone. They brought nearly 900 snakes with them. Rivers swallow villages across southern China. Collapsed snake farm unleashes hundreds of reptiles into the rising water. Residents scramble with bamboo sticks. The floods were already deadly. Now they have become even more terrifying.
Yeah, she got earthquakes in diverse places. It says and all these different other calamities and things that's happening, right? And it says what? And all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So you're really just getting into the gist of the pain, right? The birth pains, right? Because the world is about to go through some things, man. We're all finna go through some things we have never been through, right? It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, right? So there's gonna be all sorts of infighting. People are gonna, they're gonna, because people want to eat. They're gonna say, hey, if you turn in this person, we'll give you whatever points on your digital coin. We'll give you whatever amount of digital dollars, right? Any Hebrew Israelites you see, turn them in, or you see any rebels of any sort that speak out against our government, our new founding universal government, right? Call them in. So they're gonna deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, right? Because this is the time we're coming into, man. A lot of death is gonna be in the earth, right? Whether you're righteous or unrighteous. Imagine that. If you're righteous, you die. If you're unrighteous, you die. I mean, so what do? Right? It's best for you to be on that right path. Ask for the old path. Hey, right? It's better to ask for that old path. Get back to the righteous. The good way where you have rest. Because we know what death is. Death is it's nothing. Absent from the body is present with the Lord. Death is nothing. Right? We welcome death, man. Death is nothing. You're giving us a break. You give me rest if I get put to death. Right? We don't fear these things. See, before, your mind would oh no, I would die. I don't want to die. Right? It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. See? Those who change, who turn and seek the Lord. They're going to hate you for loving the Lord. But that's okay. Then shall many be offended and shall betray one another. See? And at the end of the day, all that coming against you, and they're still not even together. They're going to be offending each other. They're going to betray one another. See, but you in a brotherhood, no matter what, you're gonna have that love for the brotherhood, right? You know. It says, and many, they shall betray one another and shall hate one another, right? So they're gonna be unaliving each other left and right. You know. You think it's cutthroat now? It's gonna be far more cutthroat in a little bit. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. So, hey, come over here. I got the answer. Don't worry about. We'll just do this and we'll do that. And maybe it may seem like it'll work for a moment, but guess what? Hey, they're gonna take that proverbial rug right underneath their feet because they're not the real men of the Lord. They don't know what to do, right? And so because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, right? People are gonna go psycho, man. People are gonna go crazy. They're gonna when, like the apostles always say, when people have nothing else to lose, what? They're gonna lose it, man. And that's the time that you're living in. And this is the decree that the Lord said to push forth for his people, for you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians to return and come back to him. And I know it seems like you've heard this before, and it's like you're just putting it off. I heard earthquakes in diverse places already before. I heard, okay, listen, that's what a warning is. You know what I mean? You know, when you hear that thing, you know, that thing, you hear it until the what'd you call it? Until the threat is going away, right? You know, a fire alarm don't get shut off until you deal with the threat, right? You know, you don't just shut off unless you know that the threat is taken care of. But we're saying that the threat hasn't came and it hasn't been taken care of. The Lord said his anger is coming. That there's going to be a day to decree the ordinance of heaven is going to be upon the earth. And the Lord does not take shortcuts. There's no such thing as you walking on the fence, walking a thin line. Well, I'm walking a thin line between good and evil, and I'm doing no. There's no, either you are or you're not. And if you're not, you're going to get put to death. You're going to find your way in sitting at the judgment seat of Yahweh Shai, right? And a painful unaliving, right? So with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kwadash. Hey, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists in the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to you sisters, Shuachwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and above all, Kwam Yasharallah.